Hi y'all, this is Pam at Pink Dragonfly Wings again, and I have another project. Of course I do. Today, I have gotten into making several journals, and then I want these really cool things to go in those journals, but I get really frustrated if I have to stop and make something. So I decided that I would make up some things, and I'm going to share with you what I've done on these. And then if you like them, you can try them. If you don't, that's okay too. But this is kind of some of the things that I've made. The first thing that I have here are just some papers that I just inked with oxide inks. And I'll show you how I did them. They're not hard. And I just use these. Sometimes I use these for the bottom of something, and sometimes I just use them the way they are. But they make really cool pockets and fronts of tags and all kinds of things that you can do. So what I did is I just got an old book. I don't know what I did with my book. It's gone. Here's my book, and I just tore out the pages. And the first thing that I did was I coffee dyed them around the edges, and just have bukus of them. I don't know what I did with the big bucket of coffee dyed papers that I made, but it's around here somewhere. And so what I did is I just tore the page. Well, first I tore the cover off of the book, and then kind of leafed out the pages, kind of like this. Oh, there's a pretty little something in there. Okay, little, just made it flare it out like that. Put my coffee into a bowl or a pan that would be big enough to accommodate this book. So this book is a little over 9 inches. So your pan's got to be at least, say, 9.5 inches. And I filled, probably an inch in coffee. And then first, like I said, I fling these out like this, and then I turn the book upside down in my pan and let it sit for 2 or 3 hours. And then I came back and I did this one, and I did this one, and I did this one. And then as the inks got soaked into the pages and things, then I got this little spray bottle here, and I sprayed some of them, and then I could put them in the oven and let them dry. So it's a really easy process to do. It sounds like a lot because you're waiting on it to soak up in here, but I like to let it soak up in there because you get these really cool designs on the edges and stuff where the ink is, or where the coffee has integrated with the paper. So and when you're doing a whole bunch, it's not that big a deal. So give that a try. But I don't do all of my books that way. Some of them I leave plain. So like some of these, well, this one is one of the dyed inks, and I put a piece of lace on the front of it, and I thought, okay, you can cut that and make that a really cute little pocket to go down in something. It adds a little texture. I dyed these with alcohol inks. I'm going to show you in a minute how I did this. And just glued it to my book page. And then these book pages are not to be used as full pages in my journal. For one thing, there's only one page. I guess you could fold it like this and put it in your journal and have it that way, and then decorate the inside if you want to, or whatever. You could do that. But they're intended to be used as single pieces of ephemera. And so this is a little peach one. Oh, there's the blue one. This is a little peach one, and I just let the lace kind of go over the edge. So again, you could turn it up and make a real cute little pocket or whatever. I have one that I dyed in blue, and I have one that I did in, I think this is Rusty Hinge and Wild Honey. So I have that one. So far we've had the spray with inks. I'll show you how to do that. The ones with dyed lace on them, I'll show you how to do that. This one is just a book page, just a plain old book page, and I just put some purple vellum on it. And I could use this and then decorate. Now, I will say right here, let me say this. That's coming up anyway. I used glue stick on some of these. I'm not a fan of a glue stick. For some reason, I don't know if it's where I live. I don't know if it's the way I'm putting it on there. I don't know if it's the kind of glue stick I'm using. But I have a real hard time getting the papers, the two, to stick together to be pliable. You know, just like when I tried to fold this up, this popped up right here, see? And so I'm not a fan of that. That will have to be re-glued if I decide that I want to use that. So, not a real fan of this. These are some that I covered with napkins. I don't know if some of you saw my video on making faux rice paper, but while I was making those, I thought, well, what if I put those napkins on paper? You know, it's not going to give you the same effect as the rice paper, but it's still pretty cool. And I thought, you know, I'm making a forest book, and I thought, well, that'll look really nice. Can decorate all of this back here and have a really cute little pocket there. And so these are just done with a napkin glued down onto the book page. And this one is tissue paper. This one is tissue paper that I just collaged on here, and then I cut a little pocket and put it on here. Plain, but this is going to lay down, so, you know, I can cut it. And I left this edge here because I didn't want to cut my pocket off. So I've got that much that I can cut off and still have a very nice size paper. I could cut off a little bit up here at the top. Let's see if I can find my little cutter here, and let's cut a little bit of it off. So that's about yay much. Cut it off. And then we're not going to cut on this side, but since it's collaged, it's not going to matter. We'll cut it right up where that pocket goes. Save these because you can always use those for something else. So now we have a little smaller paper, and we have a journal. So you can take this page and say, let's see, put it on right here, and it will fit on your journal page. If it doesn't fit, cut it down a little bit more. So you have basically 3 layers. You have the layer of your page, the layer of your tissue paper collaged, and then you have your little pocket that you can put something in your pocket. So we could slide a pocket in, or a tag or something in there. So these are, I made them from the pages, but they can be cut down, they can be die cut, they can be cut with scissors, they can be inked, they can be dyed. This one I did ink a while ago before I cut it. So if we do that, we want to be sure and remember to go back and ink up this edge again so that it doesn't look odd. And then we'll do a little here on the top. I think if I were going to use this in my journal, I probably would cut off maybe another inch of this, so I would have a distinct difference. But I'll wait and make that decision when I get ready to put it in my journal, because who knows what I'll be using it for. So, but then we have that one, and then we have some collaged. These are just papers of collage, and I collage a lot of things. These are already done for me, so I don't have to wait, and I don't have to wait for the glue to dry to be able to use it and everything. I can cut my tag, I can lay this on here and cut that out and have that on the front. Everything is already there and ready to go. Okay, and that's just collaged paper. It's a book page with collaged pieces on it. So, and then this one, I just tore some paper into strips. and just glued it onto the page. And I put a little decorative thing down here on the bottom. On this one, let's see, I guess there's just one there. Yep. I put a little piece over here. I sat one day and had some strips that I'd cut off the edge, kind of like I did that one a while ago. And I thought, well, I think I have a punch. And so I kind of sat there and made those and thought, okay, so now those were all ready. So when I get ready to work in a journal, this will all go into my ephemera bucket, and I can use it however I need to use it for that particular journal. So I just thought this was a real cool idea to be able to make it ahead and have it all ready to go, and not have to wait for it when you get ready for it, because waiting is not really one of my strong points. So, alrighty. So the first one that we're going to do, I'll put these right over here. The first one that I'm going to show you is, we'll move that out of the way. That was one I used doing something else. And let me get my book pages, wherever my book pages went. See, I lost my book again. Okay, so we're going to pull off the page of our book page. And we'll do this one in sort of aqua, teal, turquoise, whatever you want to call it. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with our inks, our distress inks. These are Distress Oxide Sprays by Tim Holtz. And this is my little media mat. It's glass, and I love this. This is the one item, I think, in my craft room that if it broke, I would have to order another one today, because I love this mat. So we're going to shake these up a little bit, and we're going to just spray some. On our mat. Get another color here. I am using Evergreen Bough and Speckled Egg. And we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how it works. Okay. And then I'm going to spray it with just a little bit of water, because the water just really activates these inks. I'm going to take my paper, and I'm just going to lay it down in the ink. Pick it up. And then how it comes is how it comes. And then I will turn around and do it on the other side, because you never know which side you're going to use. So we have another page. Still have quite a bit of ink there, so I'm going to put a little more water on it, make it a little more fluid. And I'm going to put this right in here. Now, I got this idea of doing this from Louisa Heinzel, of course. You know, she's my hero. And did this, but she did it on a little plastic plate, and I mean on a stamping plate of some kind, and I don't have one that big to cover this piece of paper, so I'm just using my mat. And hers, of course, are much more pretty than mine, but I know she doesn't like the little edges, and she'll show you a way on her video on how to get rid of those little edges, but I kind of like the little edges. So okay, let's put a little more water on here, and let's get this guest check here and put it on here. That color's not going to pick up. I think all of the dark color is pretty much gone, so let's spray a little bit more on here. And we'll put it down in here. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. Then we'll turn it over and do the other side. And I like the little dots my fingers make. I think those are kind of cool, and then they kind of spread out. So there we have a little guest check that we can use for a tag. We can kind of dry it a little bit. And I have found on these little guest checks, I don't know what the paper is. I'm sure it's not an expensive kind of paper. And it does soak up liquid. And when it does, it tends to get real thin and kind of tear. So you have to be really careful with it. And that's why I decided to go ahead and dry it a little bit. The drying kind of helps, I don't know, strengthen the paper or something, makes it a little stronger. When you get it dried, you know that it will be a little lighter than it was when you first looked at it. So after you get it dried a little bit, if you want a little bit more ink, then you can dip this down in there again. Oh, that made a cool line. And so, and have these, and then dry it some more. And see, I like those little lines. And I know Louisa doesn't care for them too much, but I do. I don't know why I do, but I do. And then we'll put a little bit more over here on this one. A little bit more up here. And you just play with it until you get it like you want it. We'll put that over there. Dry that a little bit. I'm going to let this one dry on its own. The only reason I'm really drying this tag right here, I'll put this, I have my window open and so it'll just dry right up, is because of the texture of the paper. I'm afraid it'll. Okay. So then we have a real nice little dyed guest check we can use to make a tag. We can make a pocket. We can do all kinds of things with it. So that's a good idea to use that. Now then, I am going to grab one of these pieces of lace, except that one is kind of small. So let's see if we have a bigger one. Maybe we do not. Then this one might be a little bit bigger. And this is just lace. I have several, well, 2 drawers in my dresser over here of lace that I bought, Lace by the Yard, for like $3. I don't remember where I got it, but I bought all kinds of lace and I use it all the time because y'all know I love lace. And I'm going to put it on here and soak up some of this other ink. We don't want to waste our ink. See how that's going to work. It may not pick up on this very well, this lace. So let's just rub it around and see how that works. Okay, so that makes it kind of, let's put this piece of paper under there so you can see what it kind of looks like. Kind of gives it sort of a mottled, I guess mottled is the word, mottled look. And I kind of like that, so I'm going to spray a little bit more on here. A little bit of water. And then we're going to lay it down and do it again. Don't worry about the back because the back's going to be glued to the paper, so it doesn't matter that the back is or isn't glued. Excuse me, is or isn't inked, so that does not matter. Okay. I go ahead and do the whole thing. I'm not going to use the whole thing on this one page because the page is smaller than this, but you don't miss an opportunity to ink something. So put that on there, put that kind of aside for a minute, go ahead and make sure we got it good. Put that over there. I'm going to get my water and a napkin, and we're going to clean this up because I don't want it to interfere with my other inks and things. Okay. Now this one is a little different than the ones that I did on the papers that I showed you, wherever I put them. Wherever I put them. I do not know where I put them. Oh, I put them down here. Because these, I did the whole, I sprayed the whole piece of lace. This one is not the whole piece. You can still see some of the white. It's not really white. It's more of a cream color in the lace. But let's dry it a little bit. And you have to be really careful when you're using your heat gun on this lace, because if you get it too hot or leave it in one place too long, it'll melt it. Ask me how I know that. So I'm not going to just ink it. I'm just going to get it where it'll be dry enough. Okay, we'll get another piece of our book. I need to put that somewhere it lays a little flatter. Okay, so I have a piece of our book. Let's turn it around this way. We're going to see it's not going to quite fit on that page. Not to worry. Not to worry. That's quite okay, because we're going to cut this down. Most of these pages are not going to be used in this size, but this size gives you a lot to play with. So don't worry if it's not exactly the same size. We'll cut it down and make it work. It's gonna be fine. I want this really dark flower in here, and I kind of want it at the top. So, all right. So now, like I said, I've used glue stick. Doesn't work on this. So I used my Fabri-Tac because this is fabric, and I've got my page down here, and I'm just going to go around the edges. Want to get the edges done really, really good. Make sure right up to the edges. We're going to do a little to the side on this one, because this one doesn't quite fit the page, but that's okay. And then we're just going to put some glue in here to hold those random pieces of lace. We're not going to sit and put a little dauble of glue on each little flower. We're just going to put it on here. And we're going to fold this back. Kind of have to work with it. That's the good thing about Fabri-Tac glue, is it does give you a little bit of wiggle room, so you can manipulate your stuff just a little bit. And I want it to be taut. I don't want it to be tight so that it curls up the paper, but I do want the lace to be taut so that it helps the lace, or helps the paper lay down. Whatever I'm trying to say. I don't multitask. It's very hard for me to talk and do something at the same time. I know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off of here. Are we going to throw it away? No, we are not. We are going to save it. It's still just a little bit damp, so I am, and I don't use my good fabric scissors on this, so it kind of comes out raggedy. And the reason I don't use my good fabric scissors is because, for one thing, these are still a little damp. And the reason I like for it to be a little damp is because sometimes it'll seep that ink a little bit into the back. Okay, and then we'll cut this little part off down here. Well, good gracious, I don't think I've ever had so much trouble. Now, when these get dry, I have a big baggie that I keep down here that I keep all my little pieces of lace and nubbins and stuff in, and I use those when I need a little piece of lace on a tag or a pocket, or if I want to make a snippet roll, or if I want to do clusters or whatever, then I already have this, and it's already ready, it's already dyed, and everything's cool. So, what I think we will do, I don't know, I have my little cutter here. I don't really know if this will cut this once the lace is on it. It's a little bit long, so I think I'll wait until it dries a little bit more, and then we'll cut this off and make this even on the edges. Okay, so there's one of our little pages done in lace. And we could do another one. Here's another kind of lace. So let's do this one. What did I do with those little, there we are, our little caps. I have a hard time keeping up with these, but let's do a purple one. I got the blue out because I couldn't find that blue piece, and I thought, well, I might need a, now there is a ball down in the oxide sprays. There it goes. But sometimes it gets stuck down in the bottom, and you really need that ball moving so that it mixes up your ink. Okay, this is a Villainous Potion. And then we have some Shaded Lilac. It's okay if they run together. That's quite all right. And then we're going to get our water. I'll put these over here so that they are out of the way. And we're going to lay our lace as soon as I can figure out which one is the right side. I don't guess it really matters. We're going to lay it right down. And it's going to, this particular piece of lace is going to soak up this ink better than the other piece that we used. So, I think that I will go ahead and turn it over. Get a little ink on this one up here. We'll put this over here for just a minute. This lace dries pretty quickly. But what else can we do? What else can we dye? How about we get a paper towel? Yeah, let's get a paper towel. And let's lay it down here. Put a little more water on it. There we have a really cool paper towel we can also use on the front of a pocket or wherever we want to, whatever you want to use it for. Okay, so we have a nice little mottled piece of paper towel, and we will let it dry. I'm going to hang it right up here on that little bar and let that dry. The wind blowing in my window is just wonderful. So we're going to put this over here and clean up this. Probably shouldn't have thrown that ink away, but we're going to get let's try our page that we did a while ago. The page is sort of an aqua color, teal color. Let's see how this pink or purple lace looks on top of it. And I'm going to fix it. Oh, try to get it down here as much as I can. Put it right here on the edge so it hangs off a little bit. How's that? That's going to look really cool. Really pretty. So, we're going to put some ink, or not ink, some glue. Even this piece of paper would be cool done in these colors and just leave it like this, like it is. That would be pretty cool too. So I have to be a little bit more careful with our paper now and the tip of our bottle, just like that, because it's wet. And so there we go. We're going to put this back on here. I don't know if you can see this. It's very cool. But the lace, the edges of the lace are kind of raised a little bit, and the ink soaked into that a little more. And let's throw that one away. Get us another one. I'm almost out of napkins. So it's taking a little bit of the ink off so it's not quite so in your face. That's okay. That's what we want. And then we'll get glued to my paper. And we'll cut this off right here. Now, I'm not going to cut this off because that could be a belly band, or it could be the edge of a page, however you want to use it, but I want that to be hanging over, so I'm going to leave that there. And we'll cut this off right here. Okay, those will go in our nubbin bucket when we get done, wherever I put my other stuff. Right there. And then let's get our dryer and dry it just a little bit. I'm not going to dry it a whole lot because this lace is even more fragile than that when it comes to this heat gun. So I'm going to leave it. Oh, look at the back of it. Isn't that pretty? And when we're decorating it for our book, we could put something over these little tears that are torn so it doesn't, you don't see it. Or if you glue it down in your book, you're not going to see it anyway. So the thing that I can tell you is just experiment. Try different things. If you don't like it, that's okay. But we've now got at least the glue is dry. The paper and the lace are not dry yet, but the glue is pretty well dry, so it won't stick to itself or stick to something else. And we will put this somewhere. Oh, we have a really pretty little flower here. We could make a little pocket to put on the front of that. Wouldn't that be cute? We could do that. Okay, but we can't right now because it's wet. So we're going to put this one, where? We'll put it right there. So we've now done the inkies, and we've done the lace wherever I put it. We've done those. And that one's drying, and it's really nice, really pretty. So got a couple of those done. This, no big deal, just a piece of vellum cut and glued onto a paper. And so that one is pretty self-explanatory. And these, put that down there. these are all pretty self-explanatory too. You can just make strips. You can make collages. I keep a little box, or a little bucket, I guess I should call it, right here that I keep by my desk all the time, and I have to turn these around every now and then because they fall forward and then they want to curl. But these are all just little nibbins of paper that were scraps, and I don't care what color they are, I don't care what shape they are, I don't care how long they are, I really don't care what piece of paper they are. And there's another one, we can just tear that off. And I put these in here, and then when I get ready to collage, I have all of this collage fodder that I can use to cover these up. And this one, I just cut in strips and tore it. I just got a piece of paper, tore it, and then glued it together. So very easy to do, very cool papers. Like I said, these are just, and then I went back on a couple of them and I stamped on them. And you can stamp, you can put flowers on here. This one is a pink one, and I don't even know how I ended up with this one, but it's got some pink and purple and green in it. And it doesn't matter how it looks, just put it on there. Okay. And then these are done with the Dark Forest Moss Distress Oxide ink, and they're just really cool. I'm anxious to use these in my forest journal. So, and then you can decorate the pages as you go. You can wait and decorate the pages later when you get ready for your journal. They're there. You can, if it's not the right color, then you can embellish on top of that with different embellishments and things. I have a little piece of glue running around. You can embellish and put something on here. You can get pieces of lace, pieces of sari silk ribbon. You can get doilies. I have doilies, and you can put doilies on them. You can dye the doilies if you want to. And so it's really kind of up to you. For one thing, the Distress Inks sprays are awesome. I've not had any before, and I saw Louisa working with them, and I thought, well, I think I need to try that. So I did, and I am in love. I love these inks. I love what they do. I love how they interact with paper, how they interact with the water, and you just get so many different effects from it. So we have those done. Now, the only one we have left is our napkins. And these are very straightforward. These are the easiest ones to do. Let's see if I can find a napkin. I have a whole bunch of napkins in here somewhere. And these are all napkins that I have already torn apart. So these are the 1-ply parts of the napkins. Let's see, we've already done one of those. How about this pretty blue one? Let's see here. But it makes them real flimsy, so they're kind of hard to get a hold of. But I've taken them apart, and I have a baggie that I keep those in. And I have a baggie that has all the solid part. This is the first layer, the first one you peel off. And this is the top layer. And then I have the in-between layer, and it gets little, just ever so slightly, little images on there from the napkin, so you can see that. And it really has some cool effects when you add glue to it or whatever, and you just see a little pop of color, a little bit of design without being so in your face. So I have 3 bags. I keep, this is the middle layer, this is the bottom layer, and this is the top layer. So depending on what I'm making is to what I get. So, alrighty. Now then, I will tell you that on this, the glue stick worked really well on the napkins. I liked that better than the glue because the glue tends to go in trenches, I guess, for lack of a better word. And you can sometimes see it, and then the napkin in between those trenches sometimes doesn't get layered down very well. So what I use is just a plain old school glue piece of paper. And let's get us a piece of paper here. And we'll put this over here. And I don't worry about gluing on here because when I get ready to clean it off in a little bit, it'll all wipe off. But if you don't have one of these or a mat or something, you can certainly use an old magazine. Get you an old magazine. I have one down here that I use a lot. It's one of these big thick magazines that came in the mail, and I use it. Well, you can see I put my paper down on it and glue it, and it saves it from getting a mess. We'll just show you how that works. So I just open it up to the first page that's not glued, and I like this purple glue because it's purple and it shows me where I have worked, where I've put glue, and where I have still left some glue or some unglued. So, and you just glue it up really good. You want it really, really covered with your glue. And I know there's a lot of glue stuff out there, but, and like I said, I don't have a lot of luck with a glue stick, so maybe it's because I'm just using this cheap school glue stuff, but that's what I use because I don't use it for much. And then you open up your little napkin, if I can see my little napkin, and decide how you want it to go. And then we're just going to kind of get down here at the bottom, make sure it's covering your paper, lay that down, and then with your hand just have it go up. Now it's going to have some wrinkles in it. That's okay. If you don't like the wrinkles, well, I guess work harder to not get wrinkles in it, but I haven't been able to do that yet. I just burnish it with my hand because my bone folder will tear the napkin. And I've glued it all down to this page, so I may have to not get it up. And then I just fold that up and I use it next time. And then when I get it all done and used, I'll throw it away. So we have this. Just continue to make sure that it's glued down on all the edges. And then you could go ahead and fold these over, I guess, and use that if you wanted to. Not waste the napkin. Use it that way. Let's do that. I've not done that before, so let's give that a whirl. See how that works. So let's put some glue here. You know, I usually am just flying by the seat of my pants, and sometimes things work and sometimes they don't, and if they don't, I just say, well, okay, I won't do that one again. But sometimes you come up with some really cool things to do. So see, now I can actually cut this right here, and both sides are covered. I could use it for a skinny tag or a bookmark or whatever lends itself to the book that I'm making. So I do try to put it in the middle so that all of the patterns are even. If you move it over and put it on the edge, then some of your patterns are off because of the way napkins are made. So I do try to put center to center, and then we'll glue this one down. You know, that way we have some different kinds of things in our magic box of ephemera. And who knows what we'll think of by the time I get ready to use this. We may have thought of another way to do something. So, okay, and then I'm just going to, the good thing about glue stick is it does dry pretty quick. So, because I put that a little too far, but I wanted that edge to be really good and down. So we'll come back and we'll just cut this off. And like I said, cutting straight is not my forte, so I know it's not even, but it's as good as I can do it. I don't sew even, I don't cut even, I don't glue even, but it works. I'm going to throw this little bitty piece away. I'm going to keep these little pieces because I have another video I'm going to show you how to use those, and it doesn't matter what size it is. So then you have this beautiful piece of paper that you can use. You can, like I said, you can cut it up and make a bookmark. You could fold it in half like this and make a long tag. Cut it in the middle and use 2 tags, and then you've got a top and a bottom. Fold it this way and make a pocket. You know, just your imagination is the limit. You just do whatever you think of to use. I would like, if you use some of these ideas and you make some of this, I would love to see some of your pages and some of the things you make with it, just because I think, you know, we learn from each other. And I certainly do not know everything. In fact, I'm not real sure I know anything. So, you know, we share ideas, we share all kinds of things. So, share back with me and show me what you've done and what you've created. So, we have our napkins, napkin papers. We have those. We have our lace papers. We have these. I'm not even going to put that one in there. I'm so disappointed with that. I'm going to find something else to do with that. I just don't like it. We have our just inked Mod Podge ink, and we have our tissue paper. And you could use a piece of tissue paper and do it just like the napkin and make it smooth. I didn't have a very big piece of this, and so I wanted it to be, because I got this piece of tissue in a box with some shoes years ago. And I like all of the little designs and all the little swirly things, and I just think that's cool. So use that. Get your little pieces of paper, save them, and make you some collage papers. I'm not going to show you this one today because I imagine everybody does collaging and knows how to do that. So I'm not going to waste your time doing that. But so that's given us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different kinds of pages that we can make ahead of time and have ready when we get ready to make a journal. So I hope you've enjoyed this. The lace papers are my own. The painted papers I got from Louisa Heinzel. Collaging, I've just done collaging forever and a day. So now I do think I got these stripped ones here from Louisa as well. So, but just try something. Get you some glue, get you some paper, get you some lace, some flowers, some whatever, and go for it. So anyway, if you like it, please like and subscribe to my channel. Check out my website at www.dragonflywings.com. See what we have in there. And until next time, y'all be creative. Love you. Bye.